Ladies and gentlemen, let me ask you a question. Have you ever stood at the edge of something you deeply wanted, only to fall short? Have you ever poured your heart into something, only to see it slip through your fingers? You're not alone. Every great man or woman you've ever admired has one thing in common. They failed. But more importantly, they refuse to let failure define them. You see, failure is not the end. It's a beginning wearing a disguise. It is life's way of asking, how much do you really want this? When you fall, and you will get back up, not because the world tells you to, but because your purpose is greater than your pain. Your calling is louder than your critics, and your future still waits for you to claim it. Success doesn't belong to the strongest. It doesn't belong to the smartest. It belongs to the one who keeps walking when their legs are shaking, who keeps believing when doubt screams in their ear, who gets back up when everything inside says, stay down. Failure is not the opposite of success. It's part of it. This simple truth, when fully understood, has the power to transform the way we live, work, and pursue our dreams. Society often paints success as a clean, linear path, one achievement after another, with little room for mistakes. But the reality is very different. The road to success is uneven, unpredictable, and full of setbacks. Failure isn't the enemy of success. It's the soil in which success grows. Without it, there can be no depth, no resilience, and no lasting triumph. Every person who has ever accomplished something meaningful has a story not only of achievement, but of stumbling along the way. Behind every successful business, artist, athlete, or leader, there are silent chapters of rejection, doubt, and moments when quitting seemed easier than continuing. What separates those who succeed from those who give up is not their lack of failure, but their relationship with it. Those who make it learn to embrace failure, to see it as a necessary part of growth rather than a verdict on their worth or ability. When you fail, it doesn't mean you're not good enough. It doesn't mean you've reached the end. It means you're learning, adjusting, evolving. Failure provides clarity. It exposes weaknesses not to shame you, but to give you an opportunity to grow stronger. It humbles you, reminding you that no one is immune to struggle. At the same time, it builds grit, a kind of grit that doesn't crumble under pressure but becomes stronger when tested. More importantly, failure teaches what success cannot. Success can often inflate the ego, giving the illusion that everything is under control. But failure strips away illusion. It confronts us with our limitations and asks whether we are willing to rise again. In those moments, real character is revealed. You begin to discover what you're truly made of. You find courage you didn't know you had. You learn to stand firm even when results don't come easily. You learn to be patient with the process and to trust that your efforts are building something, even when it's not visible yet. Too often, people give up because they failed once or twice. They take failure as a sign that they aren't meant for something, that the dream wasn't realistic. But failure is not a stop sign. It's a checkpoint. It asks you, how badly do you want this? If every failure discouraged humanity, we would have no great inventions, no masterpieces, no revolutions, and no stories worth telling. Every breakthrough in history is filled with a trail of failed experiments, missteps, and near breakdowns. But it is also filled with determination, persistence, and vision that outlive disappointment. To truly succeed, you have to be willing to be uncomfortable. You have to be willing to look foolish, to try again after everyone else has walked away. You must understand that the lessons carved out in failure are the very foundation of long-term success. They refine your purpose, sharpen your focus, and toughen your mindset. Failure is feedback, and those who are willing to listen to it become wiser and more prepared for the next opportunity. When you shift your perspective on failure, it loses its power to paralyze you. It no longer becomes something to avoid, but something to learn from. You begin to see failure not as a signal to stop, but as proof that you're in motion, that you're pushing boundaries and stretching yourself beyond the familiar. Those who stay within the lines of comfort may avoid failure, but they also avoid greatness. Success is born on the edge of uncertainty, in the moments when you choose to get back up again and again, no matter how many times life knocks you down. And so if you have failed, take heart. You're not off track. You're on it. Success is built through resilience, not perfection. In a world obsessed with flawless results, shiny outcomes, and the illusion of overnight victories, This truth often gets buried beneath unrealistic expectations. People are taught to chase perfection, to be the best, to make no mistakes, to never falter, as if that is the only path to success. But real success, the kind that endures and transforms, doesn't come from being perfect. It comes from refusing to quit when things go wrong. It comes from having the courage to keep going, especially when every voice around you, and sometimes inside you, says you can't. Resilience is the ability to rise after falling, to try again after failing, to keep moving forward when progress is slow or invisible. It's the silent force that works in the background, holding you steady when your plans collapse. It doesn't make the journey easier, but it makes you stronger. People often forget that those who appear the most successful from the outside have been through storms, setbacks, and silent struggles. They've been tested and refined by life. What separates them is not a perfect record, but a relentless spirit. When you rely on perfection, you are setting yourself up for disappointment. Perfection is not only unrealistic, it's paralyzing. It tells you not to start until everything is in place. It makes you fear mistakes so much that you stop taking risks. You begin to measure your worth by your results rather than your effort. And when you fall short, as everyone eventually does, you begin to question your value, your potential, and even your dreams. But resilience tells a different story. It reminds you that you are not your failures nor your shortcomings. You are the sum of your choices, especially the choice to keep going when things get tough. Resilient people understand that every step forward is built on hundreds of missteps. They know that growth is messy. They accept the discomfort of the learning process because they believe in what they're building. They don't pretend to have it all together. Instead, they embrace progress over perfection. They show up day after day, even when they don't feel ready. Even when they're tired. Even when the results don't come as expected. Because for them, quitting is not an option. One of the most powerful things resilience offers is perspective. It allows you to look at failure not as the end, but as a part of the path. It shifts your focus from a how do I avoid falling to how fast can I get up again. That shift changes everything. It transforms fear into learning. It makes failure something useful. It builds emotional muscle. You begin to trust yourself more, not because you're perfect, but because you've been through the fire and you're still standing. What resilience also teaches you is humility. It reminds you that the journey won't always make sense. You won't always have control. You will face times when everything seems to fall apart. Relationships, careers, health, finances. But even then, resilience whispers, you still have a choice. You can choose to give in to despair, or you can choose to rise one more time. And often that one more time is where the breakthrough lives. Resilience builds something that perfection never can: character. While perfection masks who you are, resilience reveals who you are becoming. It deepens your confidence, strengthens your will, and sharpens your purpose. It teaches you how to endure the pressure that success inevitably brings. Because the truth is, it's not hard to keep going when things are going well. But when everything is against you, when progress feels slow, and when failure feels personal, that's when true success is forged. Not in the absence of adversity, but in your response to it. Not in how perfect your journey looks, but in how real and unshakable you become. Each setback is a setup for a stronger comeback. While the world may see setbacks as signs of weakness or failure, they are often the very moments that prepare us for greatness. Life rarely goes according to plan. No matter how carefully we chart our course, storms will come, obstacles will rise, and disappointments will find us. But what defines us is not the presence of these setbacks. It's how we respond to them. Every time life knocks us down, it gives us an opportunity to rebuild not just what we had, but something stronger, wiser, and more meaningful. Setbacks can come in many forms: failing an exam, losing a job, getting rejected, facing a personal loss, or experiencing betrayal. In those moments, it's easy to feel like everything is falling apart. But within that pain, within that disruption, lies a hidden gift. Setbacks force us to slow down and reflect. They show us our blind spots, test our patience, and expose what we truly value. They demand that we look deeper into ourselves and ask difficult questions. What did I miss? What can I learn? What do I need to change? Most people resist setbacks because they associate them with defeat. But the truth is, setbacks often strip away the illusions we carry. They remove the distractions and help us realign with our purpose. A setback isn't a dead end. It's a detour to a better version of you. It interrupts the path you thought you needed, only to guide you toward the one you truly do. It reminds you that strength is not built in comfort, but in challenge. Growth doesn't happen when everything is easy. It happens when you're forced to adapt, reimagine, and push beyond your limits. In every comeback story, there is a moment of decision. A moment when the individual chooses not to let the setback define them. They take control of their response, even if they can't control the situation. That choice, to rise instead of retreat, turning point. It's where transformation begins. Comebacks don't happen by accident. They happen when someone uses the pain of a setback as fuel for something greater. They dig deep, often in silence, and start rebuilding with what they've learned. They don't aim to go back to what they lost. They aim to create something better with what they now understand. One of the most inspiring aspects of a comeback is how it shifts perception. What once seemed like failure becomes the foundation for success. The job you lost leads you to the career you love. The rejection you face teaches you self-respect. The mistake you made turns into a message that inspires others. A comeback transforms not just your circumstances, but your character. It teaches resilience, patience, and humility. It makes you more aware of your inner strength and more appreciative of the journey. Often those who have faced the biggest setbacks become the greatest motivators. They carry a quiet wisdom born not from theories or textbooks, but from experience. They know what it means to feel broken, and they know the power of putting themselves back together. They don't glamorize the process. It was hard, messy, and at times lonely. But it was also real. And it changed them in ways that comfort never could. When we shift our mindset and begin to see setbacks as setups, we reclaim our power. We stop waiting for perfect conditions, start working with what we have. We stop fearing failure and start welcoming the lessons it brings. We learn to trust the process, even when we don't understand it. Because deep down, we begin to believe that the comeback is not only possible, it's already on its way. And when it arrives, it won't just restore what we lost. It will reveal how far we've come, how much we've grown, and how unstoppable we've become. The path to greatness is paved with trials. It is not a smooth, effortless road lined with applause and constant encouragement. Instead, it is a rugged trail marked by obstacles, hardship, self-doubt, and the relentless tests of endurance. Many desire greatness, but few are willing to endure what it truly demands. It's easy to be inspired by the success of others, but what is often hidden behind that success is a long history of unseen sacrifices, painful decisions, and quiet perseverance in moments when quitting seemed like the easiest option. Trials are not interruptions on the road to greatness. They are the road. Every setback, every loss, every sleepless night builds something within you that success alone cannot. Trials shape your character. They force you to grow beyond your limits, to develop patience, and to discover strength you never knew you had. Without trials, greatness would be shallow. It would lack depth, empathy, and understanding. It is only through challenge that true greatness is refined. The greatest leaders, thinkers, creators, and changemakers all share a history of struggle that forged their vision and sharpened their resolve. When life places trials in your path, it's not punishing you. It's preparing you. Each difficulty is a lesson in disguise, and each obstacle is a mirror reflecting who you are and who you are becoming. Some trials will test your confidence, others will test your values, and some will shake your very identity. But all of them are preparing you for something larger than what you see right now. Greatness is not handed out. It is earned, and it is earned in the fires of resistance. It is forged in silence, in the moments when no one is watching and you choose to press forward anyway. In those moments of hardship, it's natural to ask, why me? But perhaps the better question is, what is this shaping me for? Trials have a way of stripping away what's unnecessary and revealing what truly matters. They clarify your goals and sharpen your focus. They separate shallow ambition from true purpose. When you walk through trials with integrity and courage, you come out with more than just experience. You come out transformed. You don't just know what to do, you know who you are. The road to greatness will demand everything from you. Your time, your energy, your heart. There will be moments when you feel alone, misunderstood, and stretched beyond your limits. But it's in those very moments that something deep within you begins to awaken. You learn to lead not with fear, but with conviction. You learn to serve not for recognition, but from purpose. And you learn to persevere not because it's easy, but because you believe the mission is worth the pain. Those who walk the path of greatness rarely feel like heroes while they are walking it. They're too busy fighting inner battles, pushing forward despite uncertainty, and choosing growth over comfort. What makes them great is not their absence of fear or weakness, but their refusal to let those things stop them. They keep believing. They keep believing. They keep climbing even when the summit seems out of reach. No one becomes great by avoiding difficulty. Greatness demands that you confront the trials head on and walk through them, not around them. It asks that you keep your vision alive, even when everything around you says to give up. It's not always glorious, and it's certainly not easy, but it is worth it. Every trial you face adds to your story. Every hardship you endure becomes a chapter of strength, resilience, and growth. And when you finally reach that place of greatness, however you define it, you'll know that you earned it not in spite of the trials, but because of them. Your ability to rise defines your success, not the fall. Failure is a universal experience. Everyone, no matter how talented, prepared, or determined, stumbles at some point. Life has a way of humbling even the most confident among us. Plans collapse, opportunities slip away, and unexpected challenges arise. These moments often feel like the end of the road, but they are not. The fall is never final unless you choose not to rise. What truly matters is not how many times you fall, but how many times you choose to stand back up and keep moving forward. Falling does not make you weak. In fact, it is part of the journey towards strength. Every setback carries within it a lesson, a hidden opportunity to grow, to reflect, and to rebuild. But growth only happens if you choose to rise. People often fear failure because they associate it with shame or inadequacy. But failure is not a sign that you are incapable. It is evidence that you are in motion, that you are trying, learning, stretching beyond what is easy. It means you had the courage to attempt something meaningful. The fall may hurt, but it also teaches you something success never could. What separates those who succeed from those who stay stuck is not that one group never fails. It's that they develop the resilience to bounce back. They accept failure as part of the process, not a reason to quit. They may feel disappointed, even broken at times, but they refuse to remain there. Rising after a fall requires strength, not just physical or mental, but emotional. It means choosing hope over despair. It means refusing to define yourself by your lowest moment and instead choosing to believe there's more ahead for you. Success demands endurance. It demands the ability to rise every time you are knocked down. Sometimes that rise is slow and quiet. It's the decision to try again when no one believes in you. It's showing up when you feel tired, discouraged, or alone. It's doing the work when there's no applause, no recognition, no guarantees. The world often only sees the results, but the real victory is in the rising. It's in the silent, stubborn decision to not let the fall become the end of your story. Rising also reshapes your character. Every time you stand back up, you become stronger, not just in skill, but in mindset. You build grit. You learn patience. You gain empathy for others who fall. You stop fearing mistakes and start embracing the journey. Over time, your ability to rise becomes your identity. You become someone who refuses to back down, who adapts, who grows, who keeps pressing forward regardless of how many times you've been knocked off course. This mindset creates unstoppable momentum. It allows you to pursue your goals without being paralyzed by perfectionism or fear. You begin to see challenges not as threats, but as necessary steps. You begin to realize that every fall is temporary, but the strength you gain by rising lasts forever. It carries into every area of your work, your relationships, your purpose. You show others what's possible not by never failing, but by refusing to stay down. Success is not about being flawless. It's not about having a perfect plan or avoiding mistakes. It's about how you respond when things don't go your way. It's about the grit to keep going, the faith to believe in your comeback, and the courage to rise when it's easier to give up. Because the true measure of success is not in how easily you walk the path. It's in how many times you've risen from the dust, determined to walk it anyway. Keep moving forward, even if it's slow. In a world that celebrates speed, quick wins, and overnight success, it's easy to feel like progress must be fast to be meaningful. Social media highlights instant transformations, rapid growth, and flawless accomplishments, creating a false belief that success is supposed to come quickly or not at all. But the truth is very different. Real growth, lasting change, and meaningful success are often slow, quiet processes. They unfold not in leaps, but in small steps taken consistently, even when no one is watching. It's not how fast you move that defines your journey. It's the fact that you keep moving at all. There are seasons in life when everything seems to click. Motivation is high, energy is abundant, and progress feels smooth. But those moments are rare. Most of the time, growth feels uncertain, messy, and slow. You may feel like you're not doing enough, not getting anywhere, or falling behind. But forward is forward, no matter the pace. When you choose to keep going, even at your slowest, you are building something powerful. You are proving that your commitment is stronger than your doubt, that your purpose is greater than your fear. It's easy to take big steps when you're inspired. It's harder to take small steps when you're tired, discouraged, or unsure. But it's those small steps that count the most. They're the ones that build discipline. They're the ones that shape resilience, and they're the ones that keep your vision alive when everything around you feels uncertain. Every effort, no matter how small, adds up. One page written, one workout completed, one kind word spoken, one lesson learned. These are not insignificant. They are the quiet victories that form the foundation of long-term success. There will be days when progress is invisible, when results don't show, and when effort feels wasted. But even on those days, if you take one step, just one, you are moving in the right direction. Movement, no matter how slow, keeps your dreams alive. It keeps momentum from dying. It reminds you that you're still in the game. And often it's those who are willing to move slowly who end up going the farthest. Because they understand that true success isn't about speed. It's about staying in the race. Moving forward slowly also gives you space to grow deeply. It allows you to build strong roots, to develop patience, and to understand yourself more fully. It teaches you to value the journey rather than obsess over the destination. When you move slowly, you become more aware of your strengths, your habits, your purpose. You learn to listen to your inner voice instead of chasing external validation. You begin to trust the process even when the results are delayed. Slowness also guards you against burnout. So many people sprint at the beginning of their journey, only to collapse halfway through. They exhaust themselves trying to do everything at once, forgetting that real transformation takes time. But when you move at a sustainable pace, you build habits that last. You protect your energy, you stay grounded, you give yourself room to fail, to adjust, and to keep going without shame. There's a quiet kind of bravery in continuing when the pace is slow. It requires humility, patience, and inner strength. It means accepting that you may not always be ahead, but you're still on your way. It means letting go of comparisons and focusing on your own lane. Your journey is not a race against others. It's a commitment to becoming the person you were meant to be. And that kind of progress can never be rushed. So if today all you can do is take one small step, take it. If all you can give is a little effort, give it. Keep moving forward, because every inch matters. Every moment counts, and even the slowest progress is still progress. So wherever you are in your journey, whether you're sprinting with momentum or crawling through resistance, remember this: you don't need to have it all figured out, you just need to take the next step. Don't let the pace discourage you. Don't let doubt convince you to stop, because slow progress is still progress, and movement, no matter how small, is proof that you haven't given up. And sometimes the greatest victories come not from speed, but from the quiet strength to keep going. One step, one moment, one day at a time. Keep moving forward. Your future is waiting.